Hey guys, it's that girl from Avalon, and this is my quad focus leg day. So, to start, I warm up with lunges. I do 10 on each leg, and this is really to just do some quad and glute activation. And I used to not do this, but I have pretty bad knees, and I have noticed it's made a huge difference both in just how I feel during the workout and also like overall knee pain in general. I've been an athlete for most of my life since I was about 6 years old. So, like, a long time per se. I'm 23 now. And I was always someone that was like, oh, you don't need to warm up. Like, it doesn't matter. But it definitely makes a difference. And to tie it all back to Arthuriana, I know for a fact the nights warmed up too. I usually sit in a deep knee bend just to stretch out my hip flexors and just to kind of like get my knees ready to squat. This has helped deepen my squats, and even though I still don't do super deep squats because of my knees, I do feel like it's helped me get below 90. And then I do some weightless good mornings, and the goal of this isn't really to feel a lot. It's mainly just to do some glute and hamstring activation and just overall warm up your joints and then kind of feel how your body is supposed to feel when you have these movements mainly in your legs and not in your lower back. This is really helpful, especially when you're doing like RDLs and deadlifts. The first exercise that I do is squats, and after I do my warm-up, I do 10 squats typically with the bar only. And as you can see, I don't go super deep on my squats, and that is to preserve my knees. I used to be a powerlifter and did like more heavy strength-based training, and I've recently switched my focus more to aesthetics. So I do not super high reps, but I do a lot of sets, and I focus more on the way that it feels so I can improve my muscle mass and mainly my lean muscle mass to decrease my body fat. So I make sure that I always warm up nice and slow, and that also adds to the overall workout. Then I do 6 with 135 pounds to both get that progressive overload in and just to warm up for the main set, and we'll go into that as you see. But just really prioritizing form over everything, especially in these like lesser sets. I really think that it does really make a huge difference, and a lot of people, especially if you're a beginner, just don't go heavy and take it really slow. You don't have to immediately go to the plate, like go to like 10 pounds on either side or just do whatever you can. After I do 135, I go up to about 185. Just as a reminder, my max squat for 1 rep is actually 305. So this is still extremely light for me, which is why I don't use a belt. I do use soft knee sleeves. I got these ones for about $60 on Amazon for almost all of my squat exercises, just because, like I said, my knees do tend to cause me pain, and that's from being an athlete throughout high school and college. And I do recommend, if you do have knee pain, just using the knee sleeves. Even if you feel kind of silly, it definitely helps. Like, don't use them for machines or anything like that, but people won't, if you're preserving your joints, is important. And then I go into my top set, which is 205. And I did 4 sets of 6 on 205 pounds. I didn't film all 4 sets because it is also just really intimidating to film in the gym. But I think this was my first set that I did. And as you can see, I'm just really trying to keep good depth throughout all of them. It's obviously not a super heavy weight for me. Like I said, I'm not even using a belt. But I'm just really focusing on getting hypertrophy and feeling my muscles like take that pain, I guess would be the best way to describe it. And I did do 3 more sets with 205 after this, but I didn't film them. But I did take a little flex break in the middle, and I don't have a ton to say about that. I just, as you guys know, I've been working on my posing in general because it is what gets the views. And since my goal is not only to share my fitness routine with you guys, it's also to basically share the Arthurian legend in a platform that people actually watch, which a lot of the time is gym girls on Instagram. And as sad as we can say that that's our society, it is what it is. So after my little flex break, I went back, and then I always tend to go to a lighter set after I do my main set. So I did 2x6 on squats with 135 pounds. Here, as you can see, I didn't film both sets. I just filmed the first set of 135. I'm not quite hitting depth really well here, and I am going like pretty fast. I think I was getting sort of done at this point, and I just wanted to get through it. I obviously, like, when you're not hitting 90, it wouldn't count in like a powerlifting competition per se, but if you're still getting that muscle activation, you're still getting something from it, even if your knees can't take going all the way down with every single exercise. After squats, I moved into my single leg exercise, which for this time was Bulgarian split squats. I'm doing it with no weight here just to warm up. I'm not going super deep. Sometimes I actually do this with a little hop in the middle just to get some like dynamic exercises. And I do a lot of that during my workouts in general just to start to get my heart rate up. I go a lot lower once you see me add weight because this was, like I said, just to warm up and just to kind of feel it. And sometimes it's fun to kind of hop around, especially when you don't have a lot. And I'm sure people will critique my form, and you know what? I'm totally open to that. I wouldn't say I'm super advanced in the gym. I just have a lot of genetic ability to gain muscle mass. So then I went into some weight, and I do progressively overload this and then do multiple sets of the top set, but I did 8 on each leg, and I started with a 25-pound dumbbell, as you can see here. And I'm not going super fast. I just try to like really feel it. And sometimes even on like these type of more hypertrophy focused, less strength-based exercises, I'll even just like sit at the bottom. I think I do that on the next set, and that definitely helps for the most part. And I think that like when it comes to building muscle, at least in my opinion, and I'm sure that other bodybuilders would tell you other things, and on that note, I don't really consider myself to be a bodybuilder. I mainly just do this so I can make cool videos on Instagram that get people interested in my writing and history, as you guys know. But I do think there's something to be said about aesthetics mattering a lot, because even though we say, especially as women, oh, we don't care how we look, we just want to be strong, we want to be healthy, there is a factor where if you do look good, you feel better and you have a lot more confidence just in general as well. So after I stopped with the 25-pound dumbbell, as you can see, I moved up to the 35-pound dumbbell, and I just gradually go up in weight, both to get the reps up there, but also just to warm up in general. After that, I went into my main sets, which was with the 45-pound dumbbell. Sometimes I do it with 50 or 55, and sometimes I stick with the 35-pound, just depending on how I feel. I also often do barbell weighted lunges in place of Bulgarian split squats. I don't typically do them both because I feel like a good structured leg day is typically like one heavy multi-muscle group movement, such as squats, Romanian deadlifts, conventional deadlifts, something like that. And then you get more into the smaller exercises that are more focused on like hypertrophy and technique. And like I said, I'm sure that people will disagree with me. This is just what I found to work for me. And I do change my workout routine like every 3 months. As I said, I used to have more of a powerlifting focus. After that, I moved on to leg extensions, and I do a lot of reps and sets on leg extensions because I do like to prioritize my quad growth. I think it looks good, and I think it looks cool to have really big quads, so I do focus a lot on that. So I do 8x12, sometimes I do 10x12, and I go up in weight. Even on non-quad focused leg days, I'll usually do at least 6x12 on leg extensions just to really prioritize my quad growth. That was my last strength-based exercise for the day, and then I went to an incline treadmill walk, and I did this for 30 minutes on an incline of 8.0 at a speed of about 2.0, and I read while I walk on the treadmill for my cardio because it helps me both get my daily reading in for the day and my cardio, which after starting social media, it's been a lot harder to find time to prioritize to read, even though, as you guys know, I love books, especially old books, especially Arthurian literature. And this was The Winter King by Bernard Cornwell. It's taken me like a month to finish this book, which is honestly embarrassing. Anyways, after that, that's it. Make sure you do your cardio, do some reading, and let me know if you try this leg day exercise. And if this video does well, I'll keep making them. I know a lot of people have been requesting my workout routine, so I'm going to try to post it more.